I find it very fascinating that in the 21st century, people, especially in quote unquote formal work settings, need something like the Crown Act uh, to be able to allow people of color, especially Black people, to not be discriminated and to authentically show up in a work setting as authentically African. While at the same time, if you look at a lot of Western countries like America, where they're currently pushing the Crown Act, if you look at Europe, their museums are filled with combs, African combs of African women. Exquisite work like this. Guys, just look at this. These are all libraries. These were books back then documenting things about African hair. Everything was in something as simple as a comb. Just look at this. Huh? Some of these have images, the combs, they're just combs, but they have images of people, really depicting the culture. Like this one has cowrie shells. You can see it has faces, different patterns drawn on them. Look at that. Yeah. It has different kind of messages. Even something like a bird being celebrated because it shows the biodiversity of that community. These are combs that have been in these museums, and people go to these museums. So I find it actually absurd that people are ignorant, or people just want to not acknowledge how diverse we all are. I mean, I think it's not a matter of people not knowing and needing to be informed in the modern day world. I think really the dynamic is all around power. Yes, because if you're in power and you decide to elevate certain identities and suppress others, the one that is suppressed, it's almost close to say non-existence, right? Like it's not acknowledged, so it's easy for people to forget who they are. But we as Africans, we need to go back and challenge these things. Yeah, that is why we need to champion for these. They call them artifacts, but these are not artifacts. These are libraries. These are pieces of information that a lot of us Africans, we are missing to inform ourselves of who we are as a people and our heritage. I mean, how is it that we as Africans went from producing such exquisite work? I mean, I'm talking about combs here, guys. Combs. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is the greatness that we produced, that we are not recreating today. We are not improving this. This is our culture. These are our ancestors who did this. We are part of this, guys. This greatness that you're seeing here. Look at these combs, guys. These are women. Yeah? Represented here. And so, why is it that we have believed in a lie that it is okay for us to just be basic and be sterile and just exist and not go back and rebuild this? Yeah? And for the people who are busy fighting, because when you look at the Crown Act in the U.S. House of Representatives, only 235 representatives said yes. 189 people said no. Oh yeah, please, even if you have Caucasian hair, you can't tell me that you cannot acknowledge, you do not know that African hair is very different. Black people hair is very different. What is it that we are still fighting about here? I think it is this obsession around power and control and feeling like, oh, if I acknowledge them, then suddenly they come alive, suddenly they exist, suddenly we can show up as Africans, fully. Is that the fear? Is that the fear? I mean, they put our combs in museums, guys. Combs, Afro combs are in museums. Look at this. And we allowed ourselves to just forget and be brainwashed and forget about all this beauty. We need to change this, guys, and go back to our culture and our heritage and demand what is rightfully ours. Today, if you attempt to get these combs are priced very highly. Very highly. If you go to museums, these are exquisite pieces. People don't even want them to be touched, especially if you go to these Western museums who have housed a lot of our culture. They don't want even this to be bothered. They don't want it to be taken because they understand the value. Okay, you understand the value of these combs, yeah? You call them artifacts, yeah? But this is the same as us. These things that you place high value in us are the same. So why are we still struggling to place high value on Africans and accepting that they are fully human, that they can fully express themselves as Africans, as Black people? What is this that we are still questioning and doubting and hesitating? It is not that people don't know. It is not that people don't know. But people understand once they start to acknowledge this greatness that is we are part of, and we start to go back and we start to seek this knowledge and we start to build this knowledge. The world is going to change. So Africans, please, it is time to rebuild. It is time to go back to the culture. My fellow villagers, please, if you're listening, go back and seek out your knowledge. Why is it nowadays we are not producing this kind of quality? Because we have been brainwashed to just accept basic, sterile stuff. We can do better anyway. We can do better, guys.